how a man looks at investing his time and his money.
Where am I thinking like an employee? Where am I thinking like an owner?
A man should come to a point in his life where time is more valuable than money.
The distinction between spending and investing is very powerful.
I want to put a challenge out there to men that are listening. 30 days. Show up to everything at minimum 5 minutes early.
As a man, you got to be looking at what money can do for you.
They just want to hang around, shoot shit, and hopefully score some free donuts. That's poor man thinking. Don't always look at the immediate cost. Look at what is your return on investment.
Welcome to another episode of the Sovereign Man Podcast. I'm your man, Nicky Ballou, and I'm here with my main man, Uncle Arpa. What's going on, brother?
Same old brother out there slaying dragons, pillage and plunder.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So let's get to today's topic. It's an exciting topic. You and I love this topic. And it's the difference between poor man and rich man thinking. So why don't you just outline that for the folks?
So for me, like poor man thinking and rich man thinking is just it's how a man looks at investing his time and his money. I'm a fan of Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a great illustration on the different trains of thought. And then I know he delves into basic accounting principles and all that shit, which is fine. But it's really the train of thought, and I love the concept of poor man thinking, rich man thinking. It's always in the back of my mind. I'm always looking, where am I thinking like a poor man? Where am I thinking like a rich man? Yeah.
His book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I thought was a great book as well, because that book really helped me crystallize where am I thinking like an employee, where am I thinking like an owner? Because if you're thinking like an employee, you're thinking like a poor man. Hey, let me get my paycheck. Let me get this, let me get that. If you're thinking like an owner, you're thinking like, how am I going to expand? How am I going to make more things happen? And if you're a man in today's world, not that I'm saying everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship sure shit isn't for everybody, but the attitude that you bring to life, bring to what you do, can be that of a rich man, can be that of a winner in life. And I really believe that's important, that's powerful, and that's something that men need to look at, right? So let's break it down. Let's look at the aspects of thinking that comprise poor man thinking. Why don't you start there, Arpa?
I think what we need to define is the difference between money spent versus invested, right? So and not just money. Let's put money and then time as two different currencies, right? Because time, you can't make more time. There's time is finite. That's it, man. Money, you can always make money. So time is always more important than money. Not to say that money isn't important. Money is very important. But a man should come to a point in his life where time is more valuable than money. And then we men need to look at spent versus invested. Right, spent has zero return, or a very short period of return. Like eating a cheeseburger. It's a very short return. It fills you up when you're hungry. It'll quench that craving you have in that immediate moment, and then there's no return on it. Right, where an investment is going to return, give you a return back time and time again, like working out on a regular schedule improves and maintains your health for a long duration of time. And I don't mean that we're not making a one-time investment here, but the more you do it, the better the results are, right? The return gets higher. I don't know. Is that clear? You have another analogy you can use here?
No, I think it's a very powerful analogy. And I think the the distinction between spending and investing is very powerful. When you spend money or you spend time, you don't really expect a return on it. It's like fun in the moment. It feels good, but there's not an expectation of a return. An investment of money, an investment of time, you expect a return. So, if you invest money in a piece of real estate, you expect a return on that. If you invest money in an employee in your business, you expect a return on that employee. If you invest time in a relationship, you expect a return on that investment of time in a relationship. If you invest time in being in a program like our Battle Ready program or our Sovereign Circle program, you expect a return out of being involved in those things. And that's the biggest difference. Spending is done with no expectation of return. Investment is done with an absolute expectation of return.
So I think another thing we need to do is put out a word of caution out there, because there are some expenditures that are marketed as investment. Things like, owning your own house. That's an iffy line to walk, because as an investment, you expect a regular rate of return. And I own my own home, and it does not pay me fuck all. It actually costs me money on a regular basis. And eventually, at some point in time in the future, I'm hoping to realize a return when I sell. But until that point, it's a money pit. Like, it just costs money. Not to say that I don't like my house. I like it. It's where I live. It's where my wife is. It's where my kids are. It's home. But beyond that, when we're talking about, money spent versus, invested, it's more of an expenditure right now, that will hopefully one day pay out. But if the market flips, I could lose my shirt. We'll see. Time will tell. So now we wanted to get back into looking in poor man thinking, right?
Yeah.
So, a poor man will look at something and say, do I want to, am I going to spend this money? So let's take an example from my life. I have a man in my life. I keep it confidential, so I don't want to say who it is. Accumulated some wealth, and never had the balls to trust another man in investing his money. So he did it all himself. Now, when the markets were hot, he did well. He got returns about 15% or more, maybe a little bit more. When the markets were not, he took a shit dive, right? I've seen this man go, accumulate up to $3 million and then lose it all back down to about $1 million. So, I've watched the rise and the fall as I've known him. And so the poor man thinking with this gentleman is that one he refused to trust, which is a challenge. I get it, but there's some strategies you can put into place to keep your eye on that. And two was he could never get over the idea of fees and paying someone, for a value return. Right. And that's poor man thinking. When you're stuck on what the cost is versus what the return is, like that's poor man thinking. So this particular individual, I finally had broken him in, convinced him to hire a professional, again, squawking about the fees. In the first year, I have to admit we got lucky, and you got returns of about 30 points on his money, which is not a small amount.
That's good money,
especially
man.
What's the market inflating at, like 1.2%, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe
100%,
right? And then the following year, I think we're somewhere between 15 and 22% return, which again, it's pretty good. This man, he's done, I think, over $250,000 in assets gained. So, the fees, I think were that he was concerned about were maybe $1,000 a year, $1,000 a year. So he poor man thinking, didn't want to spend $1,000 a year to make $250K.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's poor man thinking. It's Loserville, man. Like that's how losers freaking think. And he probably prevented himself from being able to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, with that thinking.
Yeah. He could have taken that $3 million that he was at, years ago, could have been 9 million now.
Amazing, man. Change his life. It's life-changing money.
Yeah. So that's one example.
Yeah. No. For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah.
I've got a man, and again, for confidentiality reasons, I won't mention his name, but he was in a program I ran. And, he paid a good buck for it, like 25 grand to be in the program. And he kept squawking about how much money he paid. He kept squawking about it. And, he got some good benefits and returns from being in the program. But at the end of the day, here's the bottom line with him is that he got so fixated on the money that he just said, I'm not going to come back. And there are two things in his life that really aren't working. One of them is his freaking marriage, right? His marriage is not in great shape. And the other one is that he's always late for everything. And like we were in the process of showing him how transforming these two things would be game changers for him in his life. Like, you take a marriage from a 4 marriage to a 10 marriage, man, you're rocking it as a man. Your world is like in a whole new and different place. And if you go from a man who's always late for everything to a man who's always early for everything, you're going to be rocking it with everything you say and do over there as well. And these are the kinds of things that we wanted to bring to this man. But the money. And imagine if he had continued to invest the money and continued to be in the group, and he took his marriage from a 4 to a 10, and he took his word from complete shit to like pristine. Imagine what that would do to his business. He would instantly tenfold his business, like instantly. He'd bring millions of extra dollars in, but that was poor man thinking. And these are guys who make money. So poor man thinking isn't limited just to people who don't make money. There's dudes who make money who still engage in poor man thinking, and that's why they're fucked.
Yeah. And I look at some of these men, and I'm like, brother, how do you do it? Like these are men that, for whatever reason, maybe it's luck. Maybe call it luck. I don't know. But they things fall in their lap. They work well, and things are coming together for them. But if they were just to change the way they think and operate, they could do and realize so much more. And I look at these men, and I'm like, yeah, how much better would this world be if men like you would just put some effort into investing your time and money a little better. How much better?
Fucking 100%, my brother. 100%. And
so if any man,
go ahead.
I want to put a challenge out there to men that are listening. If you're listening here and you are late. So and by late, I mean, if you've got an appointment that's set for 11 o'clock and you show up at 11 o'clock, you're late. If you're a man that's late, even by a second, the challenge, 30 days, show up to everything at minimum 5 minutes early. Plan to be there 5 minutes early, and let me know what those results are. I almost guarantee you that your life will turn around. Things will get better. Show up 5 minutes early for everything. Even if you've got a woman, girlfriend, whatever, who's always late getting ready, don't matter. If you got to wait an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, who cares? But just look how things will change if, when you start being the person that's always early. Early is on time. Anything else is late.
I'm fucking going to take that on, because I think that I've been sick with this fucking COVID bullshit. And I need a fucking tune-up in that department. So I'm taking that 30-day 5-minute early challenge on. I say that we fucking put that out there. Take the fucking early's on time, everything is late, 30-day challenge. Early's on time,
Yeah.
everything else is late, 30-day challenge. And by early, we mean minimum 5 minutes early. Fucking A, Arp. Let's fucking roll,
5
bro.
minutes. And if you've got a job interview, trust me when I say, if you're even a minute late, chances are,
you're not going to get. You're not going to get.
Yeah, they're not going to give you the job.
There was a time where I went for a job interview, and I was always early in my job interviews. But this one job interview, I was late. There was some sort of fucking massive accident on the road. I was stuck behind it. I couldn't get out of it. This was in the pre-cell phone days. I was much younger back then. I got there and I sat down. I explained to the gentleman. I said, I apologized. And I said, look, here's what happened. There's a fucking accident on the highway. Nothing I could do. I was stuck. So I apologize. I'm normally early. We had the interview and it went really well. And then he called me to say, you were late. He says, I don't give, he says, and he didn't say it impolite, he didn't use bad language, but he says, it really doesn't matter why you were late. What matters is that you were late. In this role, we cannot have someone have it be acceptable to be late. So you're not going to get the job. He said, I enjoyed my interview with you. You're a great guy, but that's it. And I'm like, whoa, that was powerful. And it really hit me. I was never late for another interview again. I was always fucking 15 minutes early for all of them.
And job interviews are one thing when you're seeking employment as an employee, especially in today's market where, let's face it, there's more jobs than employees out there. So, you can get a job anywhere and people will take right now. I think employers will take just about anything they can get. And it's a sad reality because nobody really truly values the position or the employment they get. But beyond that, if you are a person selling a good or you're self-employed, you're consistently showing up to your sales calls late. Not a good impression, man. Not a good impression.
Terrible impression.
But
even if you're the boss of a company and you're late for all your employee meetings, your employees are going to start to fucking distrust you.
Employees show up late.
Yeah, they're going to show up late, but they're also going to distrust you. They go, this guy's word isn't all that great. You know what I mean? And it's bullshit, man. A man's got to be on time for shit. Part of being winner thinking is you embrace that. You go, my word is gold and it shall be. And I go to the men and I go, look, your word is shit. You guys, you men are fucking late for everything. And you think you're doing great now, but you're shitting yourself in the dick by being late. And that's part of like poor man thinking is, I'm going to be late. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I'm going to be late. I'm late.
Or poor man thinking. And the other thing, it's time is currency. Time is currency. Yeah. When you set an appointment, make sure you set a duration. Keep your appointments to that duration. I've had a man in my life. He said he would do weekly meetings with his superior at his place of employment, and he would slot them for half an hour. And because he was keeping to that half an hour, he would walk into these meetings with a pre-planned meeting agenda. And I know for me as an employer, if my employees came up to me with a pre-planned topic of stuff they wanted to discuss so we can get things moving, I would be floored. My employees don't do that. They just want to hang around, shoot shit and hopefully score some free fucking donuts. Right? But again,
no, but if someone did that consistently and you were an employee, if you were an employer and you had someone who did that consistently, you'd freaking promote that dude. You'd give him more money. Yeah. In a heartbeat. In a freaking heartbeat.
Heartbeat. Yeah.
That's great.
Poor man thinking, my employees come to me and they want fancy new tools. And I'm like, why? Why am I going to invest more money in these tools? Quantify for me where it's going to save me time or money. And they can't do that, it's not there. And I'm like, I'm trying to make this point across to them. They don't understand because they're stuck in their poor man thinking. They want the shiny new tools just because it's shiny and new. Well, taking it out of the box, we have, as a society, as a people, we've been conditioned to this whole unboxing phenomenon that's going on now. So much so that even watching somebody else unbox something on YouTube gets you the same hit of what's the
doing it yourself, the dopamine hit.
It's dopamine. Yeah, there you go. Watching somebody else open up a box, like it's like I don't know, man. If you look at the way they package an iPhone now, like it. Shit, dude. I remember when I got my platinum Amex card, it came in like the biggest, most fancy freaking box I could ever. I was floored at the extent that they would package this shit just so you can get that hit when you're opening that box. Unbelievable, unreal. That's, you got to watch out for that stuff, because that's that
unboxing phenomenon. Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but I think you're absolutely right. And let's get to rich man thinking, because I think it's important that we talk about that for a couple minutes before we wrap this up. So, what consists of rich man thinking?
Yeah, rich man thinking is always looking for the return, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a short-term immediate return. This could be a long-term return. This is like a man that is self-employed, works on his own, by his own. You go out there, you get out of your balls, and you hire someone to come out and work, and then you leverage that, right? Because that man may cost you 15, 20 bucks an hour, but you're billing him out at 30, 40, 50, $60 an hour. And what you're looking for is that return, right? That 20 bucks an hour that you're going to get back into your business because you're billing him out and keeping that difference. That's the return you're looking for. That's what you want to do. When you're looking at your time, you want to invest your time. So when you're putting your time into something, you want to make sure you're getting your money back, or money or time in exchange, something in more than what you're investing in. Like investing time in training employees, or hiring a nanny at home to help you watch your kids so you can invest your time into other stuff. Like, that's what you want to be doing. Don't always look at the immediate cost. Look at what the investment is. What's the return? What's it going to return back? What is your return on investment?
Amen, brother. Amen. It's 100% accurate what you said. As a man, you got to be looking at what money can do for you. Like I have a housekeeper. She comes every 2 weeks. And it's money well spent as far as I'm concerned. It saves me quite a bit of time, saves me quite a bit of aggravation.
That is money well invested. Money well invested.
Right? That's right. I'm going to write that freaking down. That's right.
Like, I look at my parents. My parents are immigrants from Italy. They came here with little to nothing in terms of money. So they try to cash hoard all they can. And I know, like, my old man would look at that and say, why would I pay her or him $200-$300 to do this simple task? But the thing is, like, that's poor man thinking. Think of, like, now the time you can save, because time is finite and money is not. Money can be earned. Time is finite. What could you do with that 2 to 3 hours of time? Where can that be better spent?
I could rejuvenate myself by taking time to relax, and that's important because you do need to rejuvenate yourself. And I could rejuvenate myself. I could go make some sales calls. I could have meetings with clients, which I've often done instead. And I could not do something which I absolutely hate to do, that de-energizes me when I even think about it, which is clean. You know what I'm saying? So for all those reasons, money well invested. Money well invested. Uncle Arpa, you've really hit the nail on the head with that one. That's brilliant. So, poor man thinking versus rich man thinking. I think we have identified the distinctions between the two very well, and I think men listening to this are gonna benefit from this in a big and powerful way. So, men, if this has been useful to you, share this episode with some friends of yours who could benefit from this, and continue to be part of the conversation to help us spread the word about positive masculinity. And remember, we're all about helping men reclaim their masculinity and re-embrace their manhood. And we want that to be the case for you and all the men in the world. If you got friends that need this message, take this message out to them. If you need this message, listen to it again and again and again. God bless you. God love you. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you for listening to the Sovereign Man Podcast. If you're ready to take charge of your life and become the man you've always wanted to be, we invite you to join the movement at sovereignman.ca.